Hey there, I'm on this big screen over here. We're going to start ranking the Star Wars movies. I'm working on a much larger project right now, also involving Star Wars, but I thought I'd just make a quick video where we rank all of the Star Wars movies. So let's do that. We're going to start with the first Star Wars movie. We're going to do this in chronological order according to theatrical release, which means we're starting with the first Star Wars, retroactively called Episode 4, A New Hope. That's what we know it as today. All of these mainline Star Wars movies have a fantastic musical introduction by John Williams, one of the most prolific and perhaps even one of the greatest soundtrack composers of our day, especially when it comes to large budget Hollywood films. And each of these movies start off with like a very Hollywood Silver Age title crawl that just kind of goes up on screen. It's very vintage, very retro for its time even, very nostalgic for its time even. The special effects rock really hard, not just for its time, but even today, a lot of these effects, these kit-bashed battleships and stuff like that still hold up really well. I know a lot of it's been touched up in the various special editions, and the original versions really aren't available in very good quality. I think you can still find VHS tapes on eBay, and maybe the special edition DVDs, who knows? You have to look for the one with the gold band on the top, though. But, even in those older original states, these special effects were still really good for the time. They still impress today. Even a lot of these special edition touched up versions, they don't touch up a whole lot. Really, they just clean up a lot of film grain. Stuff like this is unaltered even in a lot of the versions that we have today, the shot right now, and it still looks fantastic. Also, it's a very bold choice to save the main character's introduction for like 15 or 20 minutes into the movie. We spend most of the first part of this movie just following around these characters that only one of them speaks any human language. Thank God it's English.
Or whatever it's supposed to be in the Star Wars universe.
The other one just responds in
bleeps and bloops.
Very, very unconventional way to tell a story, to save the introduction of the main character for 15 to 20 minutes after the movie's plot had already gotten going. This isn't an intro scene like in the Lord of the Rings trilogy or anything like that. This is the main story happening right now. It's a very bold choice on their end. I actually give it high marks for that. It's unconventional. We forget how unconventional it is because this particular film is just so entrenched in our, in our cultural zeitgeist even to this day. Equally bold choice to not have your main character be one of the typical main character archetypes of the late 70s and early 80s when this movie came out. This isn't like your Clint Eastwood or your John Wayne type of character, nor is he going to be anything like the Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger characters that show up in the 80s. This is not your typical main character. I, again, consider it a very bold choice. I think Mark Hamill does a great job with the unconventional character that he's given and the unconventional dialogue that he's given. Mark Hamill's true abilities show up in his voice acting performances later on in his career, and even a little before this film came out, but he does a very good job with the stuff that he's given, I would say. He's a good actor. He's not a great actor. Alec Guinness shows up later on in this movie, just blows everyone out of the water, but, exceptional sound editing by Ben Burt. Just all of the sound effects that occur in this movie just sound really good. He was very creative and all that stuff. Really nothing else I can say about this movie other than it's a solid science fiction piece for its time. I would give it an A rank. Up next we have The Empire Strikes Back. This time the movie was released to theaters initially with that title, at least I think it was. Better cinematography throughout, I think. Also, more storytelling being conveyed through visuals, through shot choices, cinematography, lighting, blocking from the actors. Director Irvin Kershner, who directed Empire Strikes Back, taking that role from George Lucas in the first movie, does a very good job just, directing the eye of the audience, directing the cast, conveying, again, bigger moods through just visual set pieces and storytelling and things like that. It is phenomenal. Also, Irvin Kershner gets a lot more focused energy from his cast than George Lucas did with the same cast. The performances are just like on point throughout. They're never as great as Alec Guinness was in the first movie, but you know, like just it's all coming together. It's all getting there, and you know, it's more engaging to watch. You know, in the first movie, the performances, they were good, they were all right. Alec Guinness was obviously head and shoulders above everyone else. A lot of the performances just felt a little less focused than they would be in this movie. This movie, they are like very focused. One of the greatest reveals and cliffhangers at the end of the movie. Oh my gosh. Like, I know cliffhangers tend to be a little bit of an annoyance or anxiety inducing even in a lot of audiences, but you know, like, I've grown up with so many TV shows that I liked as a kid just being canceled after the second season, right after they set up a good cliffhanger. So like, at some point you just have to cut your losses and rate these cliffhangers as they stand, and this is a grade A cliffhanger, grade A reveal. A lot of stuff has been revealed, a lot of character altering and life devastating things have been revealed. You know, people are getting like dismembered by the end of the movie. It's crazy, and they just leave you on that for like an indeterminate length of time. Who knows if the next Star Wars movie is going to come out, and if it does, when it's going to come out. Like, you are just left with this cliffhanger for like, that was it, that was your Star Wars experience. And overall, this is just like the movie where all of the Star Wars things come together. What we think of as Star Wars actually really came about through this movie. You know, the first movie obviously is when Star Wars was introduced. This is when Star Wars as a cultural icon was finally solidified. Star Wars was going to look this way, have these characters, have these moments, have these beats, have this tone. S tier ranking. Like, if you watch only one Star Wars movie, make sure it's this Star Wars movie. Okay, so jumping on to the next movie, we have the third and at the time final installment of the now completed Star Wars Trilogy, or then completed Star Wars Trilogy, Return of the Jedi, which, bold choice to make the subtitle borderline non-comprehensive if you were not already involved in Star Wars lore, okay? At least with A New Hope, we kind of could conceptualize what that title means. Empire Strikes Back, we know what an empire is, we know what happens when they strike back. It's easy to conceptualize that title as well, even if you're not as involved in the Star Wars mythos. Return of the Jedi? What is that? Bold choice, bold choice. Also, great heist opening at the beginning. It really sets a kind of grittier mood than the other Star Wars scenes have so far. You know, it's just very fun to watch. The performances aren't as electrifying as they were in Empire Strikes Back. They're not as focused. I don't think they ever would be until way later on, decades later, but you know, they're still good. They're still good. Weak plot threads though with Luke and Leia's story, really. You know, and there's a lot of decisions, a lot of creative decisions in this movie throughout that just feel kind of weak in general. I mean, I get what George Lucas was going for when it came to the Ewoks. I understand it completely, but I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like them being used as that. Like, they're just it's kind of difficult to get over the fact that they look like a cute looking teddy bear. Great music though. The music goes really hard during some of the lightsaber scenes in this movie. Like, they are fantastic, they're phenomenal. It's a powerful piece. You know, it's just a really good duel, really good music behind it. Oh man, it's so good. Overall, you know, like, this movie, it gets a B-. I'd give it a B-.
Yeah.